What's good, guys? So the rock sliders just got delivered from RCI. I'm going to show you guys how to install this on a Gen 3 Tundra, crew cab, short bed. So let's jump right into the unboxing and then show you guys how to install this. Okay, shout out to RCI. They were packaged up real nice. Kind of inspected them already. Doesn't seem to be any defects or scratches or whatever. But yeah, so I ended up going with their powder coated black along with the top plate here. Okay, on RCI's website, they got instructions on how to install these. I'm gonna just go through this list of hardware, make sure everything's here, and then yeah, we'll get started. All right, looks like everything is accounted for. Looks like they gave me some string and then some copper wire. I was kind of going through the directions a little bit. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to need this copper wire to help feed these strings through the under frame or of the truck. I'll show you guys what I mean when I'm down there. But anyways, yeah, so everything is here. I'll go ahead and try to figure out these instructions. So I thought this was funny. On their instructions, it says the installation is physically demanding and time intensive. It's highly recommended to recruit a friend or family member to assist the installation and plan to spend 2 to 4 hours installing the sliders. All right, to start off, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this bolt here. It looks to be like it's a ground for something. I'm gonna disconnect that. I went ahead and disconnected my battery already just as a precaution, but let's go ahead and remove this bolt and tuck it to the side where it's out of the way. So this is going to be a 12 millimeter right here. Remove that, and then looks like we got a little pop clip here. Go ahead and pop this off. Cool. So just gonna put this up here for now. All right, so I did find it a little bit tight down here, so I opted to just raise the truck up a little bit so I could have a little bit more room working under here. I didn't go too high because I know I gotta lift up those heavy ass sliders up here, but I think that height should be just enough to just be comfortable down here. So now that that's done, we want to go ahead and remove these two bolts here. One here, one here. This is going to be on the rear passenger side. Just looks like they're brackets for the wire harness. So I'm going to remove those bolts and then just flip them up to the side. All right, so I got the passenger side rock slider here. My first issue is, how am I gonna lift this heavy ass slider up to the frame by myself? Trying to figure out how to do that. Okay, so I think I found a solution on how I'm gonna lift this up onto the frame. So I got this little scrap piece of 2x4. I'm gonna put this under here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use my jack to kind of try to get everything in place. So I'm gonna try to film this sped up, so you guys actually that this can be doable. If you guys don't have a Badlands jack, get one. This thing is amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to line up the holes here on the slider with the holes in the frame. Just make sure nothing's in the way. Okay. Alright, my audio here, it's gonna sound a little different. I just switched back to my phone. But anyways, from the front end of the vehicle, looking down towards the rear, again, you want the head of your bolt facing towards the inside, the center of the truck. So this is how it's gonna look. You wanna have your washer, then the lock ring or the lock washer, and then the bolt. This is gonna be a 13 millimeter. And then you wanna grab the little hook here. So this hook is gonna slide right here on the bolt, and then this is gonna lock this bolt in place, so when you're tightening it on this side, this bolt won't be spinning. And it looks like this is sticking down a little bit here on the frame, so I think I'm gonna kind of have this up like this so it's not catching on anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this bolt now. Okay guys, so an issue I ran into, I did get the front bolt in, no problem, but the second bolt that's supposed to go through here, try to get under here and show you guys. So this is the bolt that's supposed to feed through this side from the center going out. All right, not too bad. I mean, I just kind of tuck this up a little bit so it's not hanging down. You can see on the inside, so I was able to get those washers and the bolt in using needle nose pliers. Carefully fed it through, and then kind of just use my fingers to twist this on when I was holding the nut up there. So now that these two front ones are done, we got this one here, this one's done here. I'm going to go ahead and do the rears. Okay, on the rear passenger side of the rock slider now, we have the same issue where you're supposed to feed the bolt in through this way and going out, but again, the gas tank is in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and take this bolt that they provided. I'm going to cut about 1 inch off again. So when I feed this through, actually, you know what? Looks like I just barely have enough. Okay, yeah, it's not even touching the gas tank there, so I might be able to get away with this one here. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm probably going to have to cut it just a little bit off. When I tighten it up, it's going to bring this gap in, and then this bolt's going to twist more into the gas tank. And then, man, for the other bolt that's supposed to go through here, I don't even know how. Even if the gas tank was dropped, there's this little bracket in the way that's actually welded to the frame. So like there's a little hole in there too where this bolt is supposed to go through, but I have no idea how this bolt is supposed to go through that. I did check the top of this bracket. There isn't even like a little slit or gap where you could even slide the bolt or the washers into, and this hole is definitely too small. So I might just leave this one out. So I'm gonna have one here, two in the front, so 3 total for the carriage bolts. But I mean, we still got these 4 bolts on the bottom securing the slider to the frame. I think that should be enough. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this bolt and then install this into the rear. All right, so that worked out pretty well. Again, I have to go from the outside going in. This is how it looks from the inside between the gas tank. So I cut it just enough to have enough clearance. Let's see if I can get this on camera here so you can see there. It's tightened down now, and there's just some space in between the gas tank and the frame, and the bolt. So that's good there. I'm gonna go ahead and reconnect these plastic brackets for the wiring harness. One here. That other wiring harness ground located, where is it? Here. This is gonna connect right over here, and then tighten these on the bottom of the slider. Those 4 bolts I put in earlier, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the other side. Cool, so everything's buttoned up now. Looks pretty good. All the bolts under here. Let me see where they at. Oh, right here. Got 1, 2, 3 carriage bolts in place, and then those 4 bolts on the bottom. So I mean, I still gotta install the top plates, but that's easy. All you gotta do is just bolt them on through here. I'm gonna go ahead and start on the other side now. Overall, that took maybe about, what time is it right now? So about an hour and a half to get this passenger side installed. Now let's go on to the other side and see how to install that. Okay, so huge mistake here, guys. I possibly added another hour to the install. Oh man, I should have read the directions thoroughly, but the rear of this slider had to be 3/8 bolt, which is actually, get the camera here, the thicker bolt. So this thicker bolt is going to be the 3/8, and then this skinnier bolt here is actually the 5/16. I actually accidentally put 5/16 in all of these. Sucks, so I'm going to have to actually take them off and then reinstall the correct bolt. Not sure how long this is going to take, but man, that sucks. So I'm going to remove this one, put a 3/8 in there, and then for the front it says 5/16, so I got that front bolt right. That second one's going to be a 3/8, so I'm going to switch that one out. Okay, so finished up switching out those bolts. So you're going to want 3/8 for the rear, and then for the front it's going to be, so get this in frame here. For the front you're going to want a 3/8 here, and then a 5/16 all the way up in the front. For that 4th carriage bolt that had to go through here, it was actually super tricky to get the washers and the bolt in here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that one out. But I mean, 1 solid bolt in the back, 2 solid ones in the front, and again these 4 bolts on the bottom. I feel that should be fine. I mean, this thing ain't going nowhere. Okay, looking at the driver's side instructions now, it doesn't seem that the bottom of the frame has the threaded inserts that these bolts go through in. So they give you these little brackets here that are going to go inside of the frame, so then that you can connect these M8 bolts to. But the tricky part is I'm going to have to feed these brackets through those little openings there. Right, I think it's going to be like right here. So that's why they give you the supplied string here. So when you pop these in, you're gonna kind of have to finagle with these strings and try to line up these threaded inserts on the bottom of the frame. So let's see how this goes. Driver's side now, kind of mocked up the slider here. So RCI supplies you with these 2 brackets. They're different sizes. I mean, but I don't believe that it matters which side this goes on. So this one could be on the rear here, and then this one can be in the front here, vice versa. Not sure why they give you 2 different sizes, but if you look at this bracket right here, it lines up with the same holes on the longer bracket. You see that? So it looks like maybe this could be used for like a different model Tundra. So again, this is the crew cab with a short bed. Maybe on the other trucks, these holes on the frame are spaced out maybe just a little bit more. So I'm thinking that's the reasoning for these extra little threaded inserts. But so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what I mean when this frame doesn't have the threaded inserts like the passenger side. So you just look under here, it's just holes. So on the other side there was threaded inserts where you could actually just thread on the bolt, but in this case that's what these brackets are for. So I think they want you to come into the rear here. You're gonna want to feed this bracket into this hole in the back. I don't know if that's gonna fit in there. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Maybe the other side, possibly. Let's see, maybe even through here or something. Huh. Alright, let me see if I can figure this out. Okay, so this is what I got so far based off the diagram. Again, it doesn't matter which bar goes in front or the rear, because both of these holes line up, so I figure it doesn't matter. But anyways, hang on, sorry guys, wait for this car to pass by. So these strings on the end is going to help you guide, guide you to line up with the holes on the frame. And then this little string on the inner part of the bracket is going to help you remove this, just if any case you want to take this out in the future. You're going to have to pull the string and try to fish it out through this little hole right here. So, and then they give you a little diagram on where the string should go. I believe the red is for one bracket and then the blue is for the other bracket. I'm gonna attempt to, it's a bit confusing, but I think I could figure it out. When I do, I'm gonna show you guys what I did. Okay, I'm gonna try to record this a little tight down here, so it might be hard to see. But the purpose of this copper wire that they supplied, so you could kind of fish these through the frame and then have it come out one of these holes. At least that's what I'm understanding. Before I get started here, I'm gonna try to straighten out this copper wire as best I can. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this bracket in. Well, actually, you know what? Let me just go ahead and put the string in first. So the end of this string that the bracket's connected to, it's going to be this part right here. You want to go ahead and connect the copper wire to that. I just made a little hole with needle nose pliers. Insert that into this hole behind the frame. Just looks like it's big enough to go through. So I got that line fed through that hole. So if you guys can see in the camera, oh man, sorry, I'm gonna sit like this for a second. My neck really hurts. Anyways, you're gonna see these holes: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the frame. You want that string to come out 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4th hole underneath the driver's side of the frame is where you want that string to come out of. Okay, so actually that wasn't too bad. You guys could see down here, I was able to feed this copper wire through with the string connected to it out to this 4th hole right in the middle. So once that's through, let's go ahead and take this line off here so I can pull the bracket all the way through. Take out my copper wire. Right. Okay, looking at the back here, I didn't actually put the bracket all the way in yet because I still have to feed these lines through. So based off their diagram, so this far end right here, let's see if I can get this. So this far end of the bracket is going to have to come out of this hole right here. So what I think I'm gonna do is just, actually it might be easier if I do it this way, just feed this little copper wire through the top there, and then so it can grab this string and pull it out through here. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I was able to get that string through this part. So that 3rd string that's connected to the inner part of the bracket is going to be, so in the future, again, if you want to pull this bracket out, you're going to have to just pull this and try to feed this out that hole again. But I guess you just got to keep this string attached to it, and then it says like to tape it up somewhere in the back. I'm gonna find somewhere where I can put this. But yeah, let's go ahead and commit to dropping this bracket in here now. Alright, we're in. So now I'm going to attempt to line up the holes, the threaded inserts with these holes right here. Okay, so under here, kind of just pull these strings until I got the bracket to line up with the holes right here. So you can see threaded insert there, and then the threaded insert there in the bracket. So now that that's in place, I'll go ahead and put in the other bracket towards the front of the vehicle now. Same concept as the other side. This end of the string that's connected to the bracket is going to feed in through this hole right here, and then it's going to come out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, that 4th hole right in the middle. Let's go ahead and see if I can get the string to come out that 4th hole right here. see it here, just grab little nose pliers. Have that string. Yeah, easy here. Come on. There we go. That string there. See if I can find it. There it is. Okay, wow, so that took like what? 2 minutes? Not hard at all. So I'm going to take the string off the copper wire. Nice. Alright, so for the rest of the bracket here, again, this string connected towards the inner part of the bracket is going to be sticking out of this hole, so if you want to recover this later on, you can. And then, let's see here, this string on the end of this bracket is going to come out of the first hole you see here, and then we're going to line up those threaded insert right here at number 2 and 3. So again, it was easier when I just went through the bottom hole here, the first hole. Pop it out of here. Let's see if I can find it. Got it through. Take the far end of the string, feed it through this hole in the copper wire. Just pull it straight. So, bam. Easy. Okay. Now that string is through, I'm trying to do this in real time here. Go ahead and drop the bracket all the way in there. And then what we're going to want to do is kind of play with these strings until you line up the threaded inserts with these holes right here. Okay, so fairly straightforward. You got the threaded inserts right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to find somewhere to tape this to or zip tie it to, but just in the meantime, we're running out of daylight here. I'm just going to throw it on top of the frame. Just like the other side, I'm going to go ahead and put the 2x4 under the slider and jack it up, line everything up, and then put those M8 bolts in. Alright, lined up everything, so I'll grab the M8 bolts and washers and go ahead and try to put them on. Alright, so it wasn't too bad putting in these 4 bolts here on the bottom, so you just have to be really careful when you're threading them through so you don't knock the brackets out of place. But on this side, it looks like it's going to be easier to put the carriage bolts through. These bolts right here, because I don't have to worry about a gas tank in the way, so I got a lot of space here to feed the bolt through. And also, where is it? Right here. Just plenty of space right above the muffler to put that bolt through. So just because I'm running out of time here, I'm gonna, oh, it's actually getting dark, so I'm gonna just go ahead and throw these on real quick and then show you guys the finished result. Oh, actually, so it's gonna be for the one farthest to the rear, it's gonna be 5/16, and then 3/8, and then 5/16, and then 3/8 up at the front. All right, so got the driver's side done. I still have yet to kind of figure out what to do with those strings on the bottom, but anyways, yeah, actually wasn't too hard to get everything lined up. Maybe because I kind of figured out how to do the other side, so this side went a little bit smoother. I was only able to put 3 of the carriage bolts in like the other side because of that issue of like the bracket in the way. So I got 1 bolt up in front and then 2 carriage bolts in the rear. And then again, I feel like that should be more than enough to make sure these are solid. But yeah, so all I gotta do now is put on the top plates and I'll complete the install. Alright, so for the top plates, we're just gonna sit right on top of here, run at the holes, and then you're gonna wanna grab this hardware that they supply. Looks like they got nuts, bolts, and then looks like they got the lock ring on the nuts already. So I'm gonna go ahead and install these right now. Okay, so finally finished installing the rock sliders. Got the top plates on. Man, they look good. I wish the install was a little bit easier, but I mean, it is what it is. Total install time took about 4.5 hours. Obviously it'd be easier with a second person, but I mean, you saw the way I did it. It's totally possible to do by yourself. So yeah, shout out to RCI. They feel super solid. Now I'll have more confidence when off-roading. I do wish they went all the way back out here, but I mean, they'll do the job. So if you guys want to continue to see content like this, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be trying to make more videos like this where I'm installing parts on the truck, and then also I'm going to be doing some trail reviews as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.